Hi, I'm Fast and this is Go to Full-Time Strategy for Cobalion. This strategy was mainly made by JejGunz and brought to you by the Council. To challenge this raid, as any other 6-star raid, you will have needed to complete all 5 regions and OT decks. Cobalion's raid den is within Cobalion chamber, and to get there you would need Surf. If you have never been in the chamber before, I would suggest going there before you start looking for a group so that you can move all the rocks that needs strength to be moved. If you have already moved the rocks needed strength to be moved, you will only need Surf to get to the cave entrance. This video shows my character walking up the road that is already cleared, but if you haven't cleared it yet, there is a guide to how to do that in the raid document. And as you can see, I'm using Flash. Even though that's not necessary, it do give me a little better overview of where I'm walking. There is also a lot of encounters that you can have here if you do not repel, so to save yourself and your teammates some time, I would suggest repelling. Cobalion's 100% mechanic do not necessarily start at the start of the battle. It will stand in the battle log that allies are filled with determination. This gives the adds a boost to all stats various points into the fight, and this is at 75%, 50% and 25% health. We started off turn 1 with Ninetailed Strout to set up Sun, together with a double Darmanian, Flare Blitz and a Jirachi Reflect. So some important to note here is that your team's Ninetails do have Drought the hidden ability, and the Darmanians have Sheer Force with a Flare Blitz. The reason Sheer Force here is so important is so we don't prematurely burn Cobalion. This is also why we used Weather Ball on the Ninetails, so we don't accidentally burn it. With Sunset up for a few turns and our fire attacks doing a little bit more damage and our Reflect set up to decrease the amount of damage we take, we will go into turn 2 with only Jirachi left alive. You might have noticed that I have sped up the footage quite a bit in some places, and I will continue doing so throughout the video to make sure that you don't get any empty spaces where it's just a slow video of the run and no understanding explanation whatsoever. If you do need at any point to pause the video to get a better overview over the battle log or anything like that, you can of course do so. In turn 2 here, we're using Weather Balls with the Shards, which pretty quickly do trigger the second mechanic of the raid, the Metal Shards. For the specifics of the damage of the Metal Shard, I would say to go read the document, it's a little bit better written out there. We are also using a lucky chant here from the Jirachi to make sure no critical hits are landed on our team. The stats on the Pokemon and the items used here is all calculated to make sure that all of the Charizards do take the hits so Jirachi can live another turn, while the Charizards do faint. Going into turn 3, it's really important that you have checked your entire team's Pokemon stats. You will find all the specifics in the document. Some of the most important things here is that this is the turn we will burn the Cobalion with a switcheroo from the Whimsicott. This will not only give us damage over time, but also reduce the physical attack of Cobalion. It's also super important that Runniclus do have its cloak so it does not get flinched by any air slash, because it's really important that we get off Trick Room this turn. Nidoking here also do need to be slower than Empoleon, because if Nidoking hit too early, it will trigger the 75% mechanic way prematurely. The third and fourth mechanic here do come at about the same time, with Rain Dance being activated at 76%. And at 75%, the adds grow stronger, aka the adds do receive a +1 to all of their stats. For the end of this turn, you should only have Runniclus and Nidoking to still be alive. Going into turn 4, we should be at about 72.6%. We are going to do a lot of damage the next few turns, so therefore the footage will be drastically sped up. We will have Runniclus use Gravity to make sure that all of our Ampharos Focus Blasts do hit, so do make sure that your Runniclus is slower than your Ampharos, so that in Trick Room it gets a chance to use Gravity before any Focus Blasts get the chance to miss. During turn 4, we do also activate the 65% mechanic. This mechanic gets notified in the battle log as Cobalion changed its stance. This makes it so that every time you try to make a contact move on Cobalion, it will hit you with a neutral type Sucker Punch. We do avoid this whole mechanic by simply not using any contact moves. Turn 5 will trigger both the 51% mechanic Magnetize and the 50% mechanic Steel to Resolve. Since we have used gravity, the magnet price will not have much impact on us for the next few rounds, but the steel result will make the ads grow a little stronger. It now adds +2 to all of their stats. In turn 6, we're still under Trick Room. We will also trigger the second to last mechanic of the raid at 35% with Rock Polish, which adds 2 speed to both the boss and its ads. This makes it so even if Swift Swim Kingdra will underspeed Cobalion and move first under Trick Room. After turn 6, you should have Cobalion's health down at about 28.6%. The only Pokemon of yours that will survive this turn will be the Kingdra, so it can use Brine for another turn. Now leading into turn 7, with Lucario's using Focus Blast while the gravity is still up, we're gonna do a lot more damage. This will also trigger the last Steeled Its Resolve at 25%, where the ads get another +3 to all of their stats. As this turn was pretty much straightforward, I sped it up quite a bit, because it's just Focus Blast and Brine to take it down to about 13% health. Turn 8 will rely heavily on Murkrow Quash, and you do need to have your Murkrow to be rather frail so that it will die to one attack. We're also gonna get a neutral cap on each of the Empoleon Hydro Cannons, together with a Rocky Helmet proc, which will have this whole turn and at about 1.6%. At the end of this turn, you will also see that P1, 2 and 3 do not have any extra Pokemon, while P4 do have a Ferrothorn left in the back pocket. It's very important that the Ferrothorn do have the correct stats so that boss will actually use Contact's move on it, trigger both the Rocky Helmet and the Barbs. If you have any questions after both watching this video and reading the document, you can always try to seek help in the Raid Den Discord server. There's a lot of knowledgeable people there who knows pretty much anything there is to know about these raids. And with that, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I am First, and I am often possible to find live on Twitch. There is already many non-RNG strategies for the 6-star raids on my page if you wish to check them out. Good luck on your raids!